Okay. Helps if you put the microphone in front of you. Morning all. All are well. Okay, discombobulated. I just had to get food in me before I started the stream. So my apologies for being a bit late. Okay. Okay, so today, let me see if this runs now. I had some issues with this last night. I couldn't copy any of the files. I've been locked up somehow. I get a feeling the same thing's happening. Awesome. Yep, same problem. Cannot copy. Could not copy, could not copy. What is going on? I do not want to have to restart the machine. That's not a good sign. Close solution. Where are we? So I get to explaining things in a minute. I wish there was a clean option that did this. Okay. Simultaneously providing this target. Just remove everything in your bin folder. Slight even. There you go. Updated for VS 2015. Wonder if this is still relevant. I'm gonna try it because I prefer this. If you're twice maintain the ability of your solutions, you might want to take things a step further and place a buff snippet into separate lights. To create a target. That's not a bad idea. Hey Mojo, how you doing? Good morning. Thank you for the stream yesterday. That was a great place to hang out last night. This shouldn't still be a problem. That's why I keep causing a problem every time I delete a bin object. Okay. After you get package restored, that's why. Gotcha. What's the point problem with that? Just an appendum and appendum. Yeah. I don't think there is a rider equivalent of this. So somehow my things have got in a bit of a stuck state. So now I can't build because it won't copy to the output directory. Which normally is a sign it's just struggling to overwrite it because something's locked. But with what's on the docket today? So we can get this up and running, it'd be good. So I had an epiphany, and it's kind of Trap was telling me this essentially, but I wasn't understanding the importance of it. Let's open that a second. Good morning. Good timing. I'm going to find this. I'm not going to find this, am I? This is next to impossible to find without going through all of them. So I went through and I was trying to get this receive stuff working, and I thought, hold on, let me pull this back and figure it out, and let me visualize, because I was having a general issue with understanding why my workflow wasn't working compared to how I've used it in the past. And I realized that my workflow in the past was very much a pipeline, right? So I created a thing that inserted into a table, then things ran against that table and made the decisions against that table. They weren't streaming the messages from Kafka at the same time. They were just literally taking the message from Kafka and storing it in a table, and then telling something else, hey, now you can go process this when you've got a second, etc. So my use case before was not the same. So what I did is I went back and I was like, okay, well, let me create an actor that will receive a counter so I can see the ordering, which whatever order's coming in, because I was reading on the mailboxes and the instances of the actor, etc. Or let me see the behavior when I output stuff, right? So I'll do this even odd, and what it made me see through doing was this. So I get all the messages in the correct order, right? I get all of them first as far as the console writes are going. But if you look at the output, right, I don't get them processed. There's no processing order there, right? Because they're now running themselves. So it made me realize that no matter what I do, I'm not going to be able to just say, hey, is something else being created? Because I don't know at that second level if something exists or not, right? Or whether it's being created or whether it's being updated. It's just not going to work that way. Akka can be useful for me in other ways, but not this particular path. Because I can't, there's no way I can structure it. There's no way I should structure it to meet that requirement. Yeah, I know it's a distributed system. Um, it's not a lot can go wrong. It's just the use case I was trying to apply to this particular technology was not suitable for this particular technology. And ordering the events is not what I needed to happen. It's more for a thing I needed to make sure I understood all the events that were available to me, right? Because ultimately the integration events, and this is a major this is only a major problem when this system is unavailable for a little while. And morning, by the way, daughter. When this system is unavailable for a little while, and messages for the same entity could have backed up, etc. So I would potentially have multiple events for the same entity. I don't want to process them out of sequence. I don't want to process them, and this would mean that I can't guarantee that I'm going to process event 1 before event 3, etc. So I don't know the state. So you can see that, because what I was reading on is the inbox, the inbox of the actor. Yeah, I think he did. Yeah. Using actors for something ordered is totally fine. You need to take that into account in design. Right. But the problem is that the receiver is, like, if I was to stream these out to a table first and then process that table, maybe that would work, because again, the first actor would do all its work. And again, that's it's processing while it's got stuff available, right? if I put that up to program, if I put that up to 40, will I see the same behavior? Because the processing batches are 30, right? Yeah, it does. It works still. So it processes all the messages got available at that point. Oh, great. Let's hold on. First we do this. I've had some great success with Twitch recently. There you go. I'll create an actor per logical construct that needs ordered processing. An actor per logical construct that needs ordered processing. Thanks for that, Doctor. Thanks for posting that again. Gotcha. Right. Okay. So I did experiment a little bit. So what you're saying is kind of like I need to. Problem is this doesn't. Kafka. What did that work? Let's try that. I'm thinking about it. So I did try that, and something went wrong, and I decided that was still again not what I wanted to do necessarily. Hey Modex, how you doing? How you doing? I'm good. I'm good. But it makes sense. I get why. So I need to try and figure out a better way. So I have actually been putting some notes together, by the way. I've been starting to write out um everything in here and pasting the diagrams in this in what's it called? What's this called? Brain. Yeah. What did I try before? Oh, I know because you need to know the problem is you need to know does it exist? So if you create the actor ahead of time, that's great. But in that case, you're actually creating it on the fly. You're functioning. Some days that's good enough. So I can't if I'm gonna do the update and the publish, right? I can't do the same the HTTP example again. You have a REST server, you create an actor per route, an actor waits on the socket and gets the request and sends a request to the actor for that route, sending all the state along to it. Gotcha. So if I created millions and millions of entities, there'd be millions of actors sat there, but they're sat in an idle state doing nothing until they need to do anything anyway. So it's not going to cost me anything to have them sat there because they are very, very small in terms of their actual resource usage. Suppose it's a because a planning item, a ticket, a tenant, they all need to be processed, and each one needs to know. Um, gotcha. Well, in this case, again, yeah, there would be planning items, tenants, tickets, notes, resources, attachments. Everything would need to be processed through this. Um, in the end, now, um, so might create a pool of general worker answers, maybe hundreds, and use type plus name or something to dispatch to the same worker. Yeah. I mean, essentially, actually doing that because of ordering, I don't need. Um, does this work? This didn't actually work as it stands either. Because okay, so what I was trying to do is actually on that path, right? So this is essentially receiving 4 planning items, right? So I will receive all the planning items from Kafka, and I'm determining in here, do I know about it, right? Because this is the challenge, right? Do I have I seen this before? The problem is the way that the ACK is working. This one gets hit for every single message, and that's why I was doing it that way, right? So this one is asked for every single message. This determination isn't possible the first time it sees something, right? Because I can't. These won't process and make that change the state of that data until this is finished processing this queue. It would do. Is that an artifact for me? Just the logging. I don't want to make them asynchronous. Yeah. Yeah, I get the partitioning strategy would be a good idea because then I'm not creating. Because again, if I create an actor per entity, per ID, right? So that I know that I'm processing this identifier. So if I get 5 messages for the same planning item in the same time period, then I essentially I need to take the last one anyway, right? Because the last one is the the ultimate state. But ultimately, what I'd like to do is be able to calculate the differences between each one, so I can calculate what changed bit by bit. But I don't need to do that because again, I just need to. It's a delta between what the current state is when I got these messages and what the state is now, and that's what changed, right? Um, that would suppress reverting the change from counting as a change. So again, in this instance, what would happen is if I got like just to go back to this one, if I got 30 events, do I really expect changes to come in that rapidly? Um, Not in the normal execution, but if this service is brought down for maintenance, events can back up. What's the name of the distributed system provider that is not Kafka? Mass Transit. No, I'm not switching to that. I use that as well in parallel. I'm just consuming as many technologies as I can and making it as complicated as I can because it's fun. No, I use mass transit when I'm using more eventing rather than using the streams of data. No, I'm being self-critical there a little bit. Um, because I'm not trying to use Kafka as a message bus. Mass transit works well as a message bus. Um, I prefer to separate them. So for publishing data around the system, I'm using Kafka. So events in that case is basically just data, stateful data. And um, Akka is this one, right? Akka is um, the actor model thing, right? So this is what I'm looking to use for changes because then I can kind of my thought is I can kind of offload the work and parallelize the work um, without having to scale up Kafka. So I was thinking about different ways to do this, and each one comes with requires you to create a temporal buffer, but it has to have a limit within some. So the title of the stream, transforming data, right? I have another thing to look at because why not? Um, so I've been playing with Kafka streams. So this is actually someone's actually finally created a .NET library for Kafka streams. So Kafka streams for the longest time were um, very much a Java or Scala thing, but someone's created a library for Kafka streams. So what this is doing is, as you just said, Trap, this is taking that stream of planning items and bunching it into windows and hopping the data together. So if it gets a bunch of them, it'll aggregate them down, and essentially it's just take the last one, take the highest one, right? You can manipulate the stream and then output a new stream. So that would be the stream that I consume changes through. So changes would be guaranteed condensed into one event in a short amount of time. Um, Now I'm trying to test that to see what it will do. Will it take um, now again in reality, because of the way that the UI works, which I don't have open and I can't get running because clean bin and obj. In reality, there's very little in normal flow. There's very light. My brain's all over the place on this. There's little chance of getting a ton of messages in a short period of time, but it's not impossible because of live update, right? I can go and change the name and I can go and change the review date in a very short amount of time. So a window of um, some time of changes does make sense. A question is that it will wait 20 seconds from when it saw the last one, or is it will take the timestamp of the thing, right? So I was experimenting this. So I was watching some Pluralsight stuff yesterday. I was trying to get some better ideas. And KSQLDB in Kafka allows you to um, query stuff, but it kind of is on top of streams. And this is kind of it's basically a service that runs. You kind of create your streams as a set of um, um, interceptors, essentially, I suppose. And they can manipulate, they can do all sorts of stuff, they can filter. So you can actually create a stream that is go and um, pull all planning items for this project and put it in, planning items dot um, 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 tenant management, planning items dot planning, etc. So you could actually create streams. Yeah. The message that message DGP is reasonable, but I would be careful not to get too focused on such optimizations. That stream DG could be expensive in its own right. Yeah, yeah, I get that. But it doesn't matter if it's slower, right? Um, you're working in highly concurrent things, your focus needs to be more on contention. Makes sense. So this is the realm that I haven't been in, because it's an area that um former groups I've worked with have kind of been like, oh, it's too hard, let's just do it this way. And I don't want to necessarily settle for a simple thing or a I want to explore the options available to me and try and progress. Dan, thank you very much for the raid. How's it going today? I was sat in your stream. Fullbox, good morning. How's things? How's the game coming along? Not aware. Dan is building an awesome looking game, and it's been putting a lot of effort into that. There's a lot of it's hard for me to describe. I kind of watch and Dan streams uh, before I stream. Um, kind of for what's an hour. Nice. Some good people in there. I'm not saying not to explore. For these high level features, that's exactly what you need to do to compare their perf and breaking points. No, no, I appreciate that, Trap. I'm appreciating the lessons. Um, Again, this is an area that my experience is limited, and I've never had the chance to look at this sort of stuff properly because I've never had the data. Now I'm unstoppable. Good job. Good old resources. Ah, so you got to learn and get stuff done. I apologize for ads if I don't stop behind them. So, so the point there was when I was jumped back to the stream stuff is maybe the actual answer here is a combination of the two components because I don't need KSQL DB because I don't need to do SQL like queries across my streams right now. I don't need to build new tables, etc. of data. I definitely don't want to do changes inside of SQL. Um, but maybe streams plus Akka is a solid solution that um, does what I need it to do. Is my thought. But again, coming back to this, because I went back and visited and thought back on, okay, what have I done so far? What have I seen? That's why I kind of put this together. Like, I need to visualize this. Like, why is this a challenge? Like I said, this is an actual use case because if this service is brought down for maintenance, for fixes, for changes, etc., I've got to go and log into the work PC. I'll be back in a few minutes. No worries, Dan. Thank you for the raid again. I appreciate it. Um, so obviously we're not doing game dev today. We're doing app dev. So what I'm working on is actually trying to figure out what changed. Which might seem easy. But I'm trying to offload the behavior of changes to another component so that I don't actually have to calculate that. So when a request comes in with data, all it needs to do is store that data. It doesn't have to worry about any other use case for that data, right? It just says, hey, store the data, which means that I've guaranteed I've got the data at the source of truth, right? From there, I publish integration events, and right now I consume those integration events and render a view. I store that in a table, and I have a GraphQL API, which is what the view pulls from. So the client is able to query this and get their data. But I also want to now say, okay, well, what changed about the data, right? And I'm, again, breaking that away so that the time it takes to store this information is very small, and I'm back to the client and I'm moving on. And I've guaranteed security of that data. Gotta know your expensive parts, and that isn't something that will be documented. Is it the database? Is it pre-processing the messages? One would hope it's the former, but always need to test. Makes sense. Yeah. I mean, sorry. Kafka Streams is built for ETL stuff, right? So it is built for doing this. Again, I was going through. Bring it up. I was going through a course. Actually, this guy is very easy to listen to. One of the best Pluralsight videos I've watched in a while. So I've been watching this one. So primarily focused on KSQL DB, but creating data through there and trying to get the output. So I'm going to finish watching that as well. Actually, the first Pluralsight video I've actually sat and managed to watch most of in a long time. So maybe it is a combination, because then I don't have to make Akka do the deduplication. Akka's just receiving an event and doing something with it. I ran into a number of issues with Kafka in the past, and at least back then, I'd be trusting the speed and reliability of a standard relational DB over Kafka, especially those query-like interfaces. Makes sense. The good news is, by the time we've got through most of this, I will be able to quite easily load test this and see some of those delays. Right. I do want to look at, again, open telemetry in the future. Putting telemetry around all this will give me some insights into that, right? And then being able to dump tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of planning items and stuff in there and seeing what happens would be an interesting challenge for it to show my latency around the system. But apart from backing the system off of, backing the integration events off Kafka, there's nothing to say that any single component can't be replaced, which is why I'm building this the way I am, right? So I'm not like all in on a specific technology. I can flex these if I need to. The query APIs in Kafka back then were pricey ultimately, and moving within the stream was also expensive. Maybe they've been better indexing now, but 5+ years ago it was not cheap. Yeah, I mean, my normal use case for Kafka has definitely been more aligned to this integration event style, where I've been consuming the events, I've been publishing them into Kafka topics and consuming them and dealing with them wherever I need to deal with them. That's my more common use case. I've not actually tried much. Well, I haven't tried stream processing in any great way before, so the query aspect of it is not something I've gained a lot of experience with. So maybe I'll find out the same thing. Maybe I'll find out that it is too expensive and difficult. So if we can guarantee as best as possible, as it would be cheaper to stream the data off and process by the consumer than trying to push certain responsibilities into Kafka, but a lot can change in 5 years. Okay, so that's a good point. So that's my normal way of doing it, right? Is to stream it off and process it in a consumer. So one other option I have, and I don't like it necessarily for the purpose for this, is basically where I have this event receiver, right? If I could create multiple of these and therefore create multiple consumer consumers running in the same group on the same service, I could achieve roughly what I'm trying to do with Akka, right? Because I could actually essentially add more partitions to this, right? Create 3, 5, 10 partitions on the planning items topic, and then scale these up. Build that into my design to scale the consumers up on a single instance. That would allow me to get more throughput and better use the machine. So this is why I'm trying to use Akka, because I feel that Akka can take that load a little bit more and then make up for me having fewer partitions on my actual topics. But maybe that's a way to do it, right? And that would be my alternative for Akka and for streaming. Because in this, again, if we can receive one event in any given time window and not receive 15 events because they've just burst through a lot of changes, then this can do its job more accurately, because it can take its last stored version and compare it to that. And this would be the combination this would be the most recent event. So realistically, I'm using the stream there as a gate, not as an actual. It's not doing anything. It's not actually aggregating anything. It's just reducing it down to be one event rather than 5 or 10 or 20 in a single time period. When I built my system, I used partitions straight up rather than using Kafka's higher level topic API. They give me more control. However, since ordering is more important to you, you need to ensure that some way with timestamps or counters, and the processor could ignore late messages. Yeah, so I mean, ultimately, I wouldn't have. It's actually the first time I've actually had to contemplate what partitions mean for different services, right? This would be a problem for you anyway, because a client could resend a message and ordering from the absolute time perspective would no longer be kept. Yeah. Ordering, yeah. This point, partitions are partitions are driven by consumer demand, not by producer at all. Um, and they can be driven by M0 is sent. The Kafka client API fails, and then you send M1 that succeeds before M0 is successfully sent. But Kafka guarantees ordering within a partition, within a topic and then a partition. So it won't, unless I commit M0, which I don't commit until I complete success, then M1 wouldn't get sent to me until M0 had been sent to me. So I wouldn't get them out of sequence in that request in that state. So I'm keying I'm keying publish planning item. So the key of my message is the identifier of the object. So all messages for planning item 1 will come with the same identifier. So they'll get, according to Kafka, according to Confluent, if a message has the same key, its key will be calculated into the same partition every time. So you actually can guarantee be forcing an ACK from Kafka before sending future messages. On the publishing, I don't think I am requiring the ACK, so that could create an issue, yes. If this fails, is what you're saying. This could create that situation, absolutely. Yeah. So if I don't acknowledge each send, I could send them out of sync. Yes. Yeah. Also means you can't have client-side concurrency. Yeah, if this fails and rolls back the processor, the outbots will try it again. But the outbots will have moved to the next message. No, the outbots, because this actually goes to the outbox. So this actually writes it to the database at this point, actually. So it looks like it's deliberately made to look like the publisher so that you don't know the outbox is there. But the outbox, let me have a look. I need some more windows opened. Don't quite have enough. TV develop. Kafka extensions. Add outbox publisher. Where's my outbox? I made this a little bit too complicated. So being that this is out of process, out of normal process, I could put the ACK in here. This basically SQL Server outbox messages, add build outbox message. Outbox publisher, post async, retrieve next message. If message is not null, publish the message, which is a lot of generic code to go and get the actual publisher. So this picks up the publisher that I've configured. So this just gets given the iPublisher. Oh no, it uses a specific cat publisher. Okay. So the events. I just have one solid Kafka publisher. This will need to change eventually. This is too naive. And I'll produce and flush. So I don't have any configuration for hacking that. So yeah, it could potentially process one and then fail and then process the second one and send the second one out of sequence. Which again, if the stream is there, the stream would fix, right? Or the stream would account for because it'd take the last updated and it'd take the greatest one. So if it got two at once, it would kind of work. Can't remember, was it I think it was Surly Dev. Surly Dev gave me a tip the other day. So if you get someone in chat and they post spam message like long live child it before, if you copy the text that they send and paste it into your Twitch and then you report the user, I got an actioned notice from Twitch almost immediately after the received notice, and I've noticed that a few times recently. So copy the content of the message they give you, paste it into the reason that you don't have to type anything, just paste that into there and send the report, and they'll almost immediately be banned. This is a tip there for everyone. Everyone that streams. Okay, so let's see if I can get this working. Let's see if I can get the Kafka stream working. I think I think going down this path is a worthwhile exercise. If this doesn't work, my backup would be to create a multi-threaded consumer process in the the changes service, which would essentially do the same thing, but it would just process each message. Want a super beard? Subscribe today to Beardy Tips. Hi, Copper Beardy. How you doing? That's good. So let's see if I can get this working. So this takes liquid sky planning items. It groups by the key. It then sets a window option. So there's different window options, and these determine like, okay, here's the period of time I'm looking for, and here's how far I progress forward. I think this one is um it takes a 20-second window and then advances 10 seconds, so it's kind of overlapping. Um I have to look more into those. Hopping time windows are windows based on time intervals. They model fixed-sized overlapping windows. A hopping window is defined by two properties: the window size and its advance interval. The advance interval specifies how much a window moves forward relative to the previous one. For example, you can configure a hopping window with a size 5 minutes and an advance interval of 1 minute. Yeah. So I could do from minutes 3, which is probably more realistic. It's probably not best measured in seconds if I'm going to do something like this. Overlap by 1. So let's try and run that. Now I've got it set to earliest, so as long as it doesn't keep track of its errored. The key SERDES serializer deserializer is not compatible to the actual key for this processor. Change the default key series in stream config provides correct SERDES via method parameters. So the problem there is this stream doesn't produce. It's an IK stream of windowed GUID planning item integration event. So how do I set serializer, deserializer? So this library is someone has built a Kafka streams.NET implementation around. So last time I looked at Kafka streams and KSQL DB, there was no .NET implementation that I found. So this was good to find. The problem is the documentation is a little on the. I've got to go and learn what it means. So here's a reduce example. So reduce seems to make sense. I want to take many down to 1. I don't need to do any combination. I'm not doing actual any mapping here because it's just literally figuring out which one's the most recent message, right? So I've got a windowed reduce. Monitoring asynchronous. Transform I don't need to change it. So you've got all the tools to manipulate here. Really gonna not pop up. So the question here is, here's where I configure the stream, right? That's what they're talking about. Currently, I don't even have a beard. Take my money. I need these tips. And what this is saying is string serializers and deserializer for key and JSON serializer deserializer around planning item integration event for. So again, I'm configuring a single stream here. So in the application, I would probably configure multiple of these if I'm because I'd configure one of these for each thing I need to condense, I suppose. But baby steps, right? And what it's complaining about is that the serializer deserializer doesn't match for this topic that I'm creating. So this is a new topic. Again, this would be in here, and I create merged planning items here, right? So I had to come up with a naming convention. Actually, it would be probably better to be create topic dot merged. From a groupings perspective, it would probably make sense to that. So let's go back to the code, and then that would be here. I don't think I need to name the stream. But I don't have any configure or anything like that. So I was hoping that it would give me enough information to tell me what's wrong. All systems have died. The key SERDES is not compatible to the actual key for this processor. Or provide correct SERDES via method parameters using the DSL. Using method parameters. How do I do that? It is not setted. I'm trying to create some demo app for the DeepGrind SDK, but having issues with the WebSocket connecting that is internal in a Blazor WASM app. WASM refusing to connect. Ah. Eat ginger biscuits. That's just good advice in general. So they have stream config. What time? Delta, thank you very much for coming and hanging out. Have a great day. Default. The default class rate serialization, deserialization, Kafka streams happen whenever data needs to be, whenever it's read from. Right. Stream config. That's the default. How do I add? Okay. When you have the concept of a default, you normally have the ability to override or add more or whatever I'm doing. Okay, so am I missing something there? Do I get to add configurations? Config. Default E for consumer material. Well, that's the consumer. Dot. Add state dot. I got to work early and someone else is here early. Nice. I used to look when I was when I was young. I used to love getting up at like 6 a.m. and going into the office and then getting 3 hours of working because I work 10 minutes walk away from where I lived. Um, I used to love just getting up at like 6 and going in the office, stopping at McDonald's, getting myself an egg McMuffin and a coffee, and going and sit in the office and getting like 3 hours of work before anyone else arrived. Because then I just slack off for the rest of the day because I've pretty much got a day's worth of work done in 3 hours. And actually, if I had the option, I'd get up and start work and get it done. I I love streaming, but I would love to just be able to get on, get all the stuff done, and then be done by lunchtime. So what I'm looking for here is some sort of repartitioning. That's not something I want to mess with. Some sort of way of configuring the output because the thing is this has changed, right? So it's not this anymore. Um, create a well, there's no CERDES configuration here. It's not on the two. Um, my last job was at a machine shop and hours of 7 to 3:30. I missed those hours. Ah, here we go. So that's okay. So that's how you do it. So do I do is it something like that? So fun fact on the ads thing. Where is it? Why does Twitch do that? I get up at 5 a.m. every day so I can get pretty much everything I need to do done by 2. So I have the rest of the day to do nothing, anything else, but I go to bed at 9 every night. Yeah, I get up around 5:36, mainly 5:30 these days. Take the dogs for a walk, jump on stream, start work at 9:30, work till 6, and most evenings go to karate at 8 o'clock. Do an hour of karate, then come home, then have a snack, something to drink, and then go to bed by about 11 or 12. So, yeah, fun fact on the ads thing. Twitch is according to Twitch, nobody watched ads for like the entire weekend streams, by the way. Reference, if you've not seen it yet, you do not get rich off Twitch ads with I would imagine if you had thousands of viewers, you would make some money on Twitch ads. but I'd rather have anybody. Yeah, they were actually watching you. I don't know, just the way they record it. Sometimes it takes days for them to update the data. They're eventually consistent for certain. So hold on, let's do this. How do I configure this? So this would be key series surds, and this is going to be. So I give it the. So this I give it the key and value. So JSON surd as windowed GUID. Is that new? Value surd as new. This is a pure right, but I mean, not a fan of the ads, but since I can deal with the ad break, it's in the pop inside and bottom ads I find irritating. Yeah, I mean, to me, I like the fact that it means that people who come into the stream now don't get pre-rolls, so they can get into the stream, decide if they're going to stay, ask any questions, and they're not welcomed with ads. If I turn that off, then you're going to get pre-rolls all the time, and I think that can be more obstructive if you're just trying to fit. I think if you're just trying to discover a stream and you're clicking on it because you're looking through Twitch and trying to see, then this is the best way of getting people to see what's there. So it's that time again. Sun's in my eyes. Nope, still gonna break, aren't you? The key SERDES is not compatible to the actual key for this processor. I don't get it. There's no. Yeah, it knows what it is. So if it knows what it is, why do I have to specify? That's just a name. I don't know about naming. So the idea here, what I'm trying to do is I'm saying, hey, take this stream of data. Here's its key value, right? This is the key and the value. Group it by its key, right? Because all items of a single entity are going to have the same key. Window it by this period. So look for 3-minute periods, hopping 1 minute, and then aggregate them down, reduce them down so that I take the most recent updated. I mean, it's basically the last in the current window, right? And then take that merge stream or reduce stream and pass it to this new topic and use this to do it. My concern there is, why is that? Like, now if I change that, it errors trying to read this, right? So if I change this to be, I can't do it. There's no GUID cert as. If I do that as windowed GUID, JSON cert as, that just sounds silly, right? What you'll see is that will error in a different way. So it's definitely a change in the configuration, right? So that's erroring saying, okay, error during key deserialization, partition offset 182, unexpected character incountable parsing value. Right? Because it's not a GUID, a window GUID like that, right? But if I do this, it works fine. Right. And I have had this running. I have had this producing messages. So again, the idea here is I'll take the stream, use the stream to basically guarantee that I'm going to only get for a single window, I'm only going to get one entity rather than. So if I get a burst of changes, I only get one change. That's basically what I'm trying to do. I'm consolidating down so I don't have to process. Then what I do is take it into here, and this will read from that topic instead. So this would actually read from. That's an interesting challenge now. That's a good point. That's a very good point. My other design now breaks. Awesome. Either way, I would actually have to tell it to read from a different topic, which is actually the thing I just realized that I've kind of got it bound to a message type right now, which is bad because now it's an okay default, but it's not what I need to do. So I need to consider that design. Well, basically what would happen is this would then consume from the merged topic or whatever, the reducer topic, which would be merged, or you can't rename a topic though. You can't add partitions, and you can't rename a topic cleanly. Anyway, let's name this something. Um, so it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, it is. But we take that, we output that into this. So this is going to manipulate that, give us a new topic that's going to contain groups of these spanned together, and that's what's going to feed out. Now, what I need to learn is if I just post a message, does it have to wait 3 minutes before it gets through, or does it get, if I've just got one message, is it just brought right through because this is, it's in real time, and it only matters if I'm bursting a bunch of messages in there, right? So that's kind of why I was watching the Pluralsight course yesterday on this to try and understand a bit more about this. But there's the big problem with that Pluralsight course is there's a lot of talking and a lot of slides and not a lot of demoing, which is where I do better. So if anyone's new to the stream, and you're wondering what I'm doing, or you have questions about the design or anything like that, you're more than welcome to ask. There's a lot to go into here, so I don't just I like to not try and just divert to talking about it, but I'm always happy to discuss what I'm doing, and if you have any thoughts or opinions, I'm always happy to listen to them. Again, I don't know everything. I'm trying to learn. Not everything. So if I do anything other than the JSON does here, it just whines at me, right? So it clearly knows. Materialize a string to a topic using serializer specified in the method parameters. The specified topic should be manually created before it is used. Topic name, key serializer, value serializer. A string config used to name the processor in the topology. A string config used to name the processor. Right. Processor Bob. Right. So again, when I deserialize, the GUID comes out as a string, right? But I'm treating it as a GUID here. So it knows I assume that that's giving it some sort of conversion. Normally I have serializers and deserializers myself, so this concept is not one I've touched yet. So I have custom JSON serializer and GUID serializer. So when I say it's a GUID key, I know how to serialize and deserialize it. So that's going to error. By correct surveys via method parameters. Oh, hold on. Impossible to receive source data because key surveys and all value surveys is not setted. Ah, hold on. You do have key surveys. Maybe that's the problem. Do I have to create a GUID? Yeah. No, I just named that wrong as well. um, it does support it. GUID. Okay, so this will do what? Okay, as an object, as a GUID. So this is easy because this is return GUID dot parse data. Actually, I think it's just new GUID data. That's an easy one. This is data dot 2-byte array. That's easy. Not sure what that's meant to do. I guess we'll learn. Deserialize, we want to say and serialize if data is period. Return period dot 2-byte array. Else return okay. So what I want to see now is if I can do new GUID studies, value studies, new JSON studies. Okay. What's the oh 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 that's almost good. I mean, it's not good because it's got all the windows there, so it's not really helped me. So it takes the produce time. See how they all have different, they all have the same. So how many? What? No, 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 no. You just stream sample app. There was messages in there. So this becomes a consumer of planning items. Why did the messages disappear? Sync. Ah, syncs. That's a K-table to stream. K-table reduce. Okay. Hmm. Interesting. Okay. So I assume if I had this reading though. That's weird though. I didn't need this before, so maybe I was doing it slightly differently before. But stream that to that. Hopping window options. So that doesn't. So what I want to do here is go back here, update the offsets of this to 182. Come on. Oh, by the way, don't do that. It it stacks them indefinitely. Ah, consumer groups. There you go. Update offsets. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get it to reset back to the beginning of that so I can process the messages again. There we go. That works now. So it will start up and run. So the problem there is it produced. It didn't. What I was hoping for is one message because all the messages are in there, but it actually took the processing time of the events, not the fact that they were all in the queue. So it still works the same way, whether the queue's running or not, whether the topic's running or not, right? Or whether this consumer is running. Which I suppose makes sense, if I'm being honest. Kind of dumb not to think that it would behave that way. It wouldn't behave that way. So let's go back to this. Let's go back to the Akka piece. So again, what I'm trying to do is so I've got it in my Obsidian document now, right? I did this. I put it in Obsidian. I realized last night I could use it because thank you Mojo for the comment that I could put Excalibur inside of Obsidian. That opened up my possibilities of keeping my documentation with my diagrams together, and I can still write create Excalibur drawings in here. So changes. Create new drawing. Why do you default to I? It defaults to that. Does it connect to your self-hosted? I thought about that on my diary. It doesn't, because it just creates an Xskydraw instance. Unless there's plugin settings somewhere. Actually, That'd actually be pretty cool if it could. Oh, here we go. It did get me thinking, actually using this last night did get me thinking that when we're talking about documentation, right? I get that there's an argument to be made about not creating, not trying to create all things, right? Um, Applications try and do it all the time. JetBrains Space tried to do it where um, they've got documentation, they've got workflows, they've got planning, everything in one tool. And what they realized is um, you just have um, you, people aren't using those things, right? So being all things is great. But when we're talking about documentation, normally when we're talking about planning and stuff, we're saying, oh, go and look at the document in Confluence, etc. Um, the document should just be a document. So why not have, you could have basic markdown support inside of this framework. So that might be a much later tinker, see if it can be integrated in a way that is not a pain in the backside. You might be able to move your files over. I don't have that many files. I mean, I just copied and pasted these in as they are, so it's fine. Um, Pen mode, show. Why not default to dark mode? Otherwise, I'm going to just flashbang everyone every single time I open an Excalibur document. Display type for Excalibur IMD files in the File Explorer. Whatever. Okay. So basically what I want to do is, okay, want to consume a Kafka topic. I want to um what's the right way here? Have I have a task item right now to generate XML comments and convert them to Markdown on a repo push. Markdown is beautiful. Markdown does make things easier, and there's lots of ways of embedding it. So it was a thought. Maybe I could put some level of documentation stuff into my application that would inline it a little bit more. But then again, you're kind of reinventing wheels that don't need to be reinvented when you can link out to other things. So all that being said, Confluence is just another part of the Atlassian platform, right? So um, exists. So in the changes system itself, right? I'm going to. I've probably created this a million times by now. Probably should. There's probably a diagramming component that I should just include rather than doing this. Whoa! What are you doing? Well, don't override my keys. Takes you to graph view. Okay. The so Excalibur is embedded, but Excalibur is uh not the owner of the keyboard shortcuts when this is open. Okay. That's funny. Anyway, the slash XML comments generate decks and build. Yeah, yeah. So if it exists, what I need to do is compare the stored version. And right. Yes. Rename changes XI draw. I'm just putting XI draw so I can clearly see what it is. This will be reduced to changes stream, i.e. liquid sky dot planning items that changes, right? If it doesn't exist, then we need to store it. I'm interested in recreating your diagram in Mermaid. Okay. If you can demonstrate better tools to me, I'm always happy to look. And then we go there anyway, right? Because what we're doing is storing the version. So if it doesn't exist, we're going to use this object as our base object. So we need to store it so that then it's in here, right? And then we produce it to the changes stream anyway, right? So we'll create a liquid sky planning items changes. So every topic would have a changes topic. No worries. Changes. Huh? How is it done? Oh yeah. The changes escalator draw 1400. Make it big enough. There you go. Changes will work using magic. I was clearly being a little bit punchy as I was getting tired. Changes there. One Lion, thank you very much for the gifted sub. I appreciate that. Thank you. Gotta look at the camera more. I'm looking at the like. I need to get the prompter all set up. So thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Change builder on database to compare objects, entities against. So that's the workflow for that. Wow, massive. Let's go back to this. Why is that dangerous? So suppose it isn't. Receive Okay, so I've got a bit of re-engineering to do here to support some use cases that I didn't think about beforehand, right? Um, so right now, um, I need to make sure that's closed. Right now, if I go to localhost 8500, this is one of the components that I would be keen to know. Um, Keen to know about Aspire and its options for this sort of stuff. So I use Console for two things. Console is the backing service for Ocelot, so it stores its configuration, its routing configuration for Ocelot in here, and then Ocelot's the API gateway tool. Then Ocelot uses Console to resolve the service addresses, right? I also then built with my Kafka stuff, I built the ability to have topics that would, given an event type, can figure out their topic. But what I've just done is completely broken that if I do that merge concept, right? Because I need to produce another topic that's going to have the same. Could you think of a small homework assignment where I can possibly apply these with Aspire? um, I mean, ultimately, is can you with Aspire create two APIs and have an API gateway that a client can talk through? That's really what's necessary. Can you route the API request to the right API through with configuring in Aspire? That's all it's doing for the console component. So um, again, it's using console here for service discovery, which I think Aspire has in it anyway. That's part of Aspire, and routing. So it's using the API gateway part, right? So does Aspire offer that out of the box? Now, .NET does have not Dapper. Dapper would be a slightly different concept. I think that's what Aspire is built on, isn't it? Dapper. DAPR, not DAPPER. They do have YARP, which is a reverse proxy, which can also be used as a gateway because the two concepts aren't completely alien to each other. So this is the routing configuration I have for Ocelot, right? So Ocelot again is the API gateway. And then it's using it for service discovery. I just happen to be using it for my Kafka configuration as well, because it seemed like a really logical place to put something where I have configuration. Um, what I'm contemplating right now is I need to kind of fix this before. So if this is going to give me windowed data anyway, then what value is it? Because it's going to give me, based upon the events happening in time, then whether I receive one or a million, it doesn't matter. Like in my mind, if it was condensing them based upon it's what's available right now. So it just said, here is everything in a window. That would work, but that's not what they need to do. Now I could do that. That would probably do something useful. Took 1.4 seconds. That would reduce all of them into one. So how would that work? That would essentially depends on whether that topic that it that it's working with is actually what's it called, compressed. So at work, we're building our own API gateway. We have our API that receives requests from the client, and then we silo the requests appropriately. Silo the requests. So you're why are you building your own API gateway? You're building an API that forwards API requests to other APIs. That just seems like a really hard problem to introduce. Even I wouldn't try and make my own API gateway. And I'm creating this overly complicated system that is using 1,000,001 moving parts. I just don't get why that would be a decision to Okay, so let's do this. Let's stop that running again. Let's go back to consumer groups. Offset 209 would be offsets. I don't know why. I was tinkering with registries and all sorts last night. I think it's that time where I need to spend a bit more time with Kafka. Use it properly. I might as well figure out how to use the tools. We're discussing it as a gateway. My senior dev is using diagrams of actual gateways, but I do think it's just an API that calls other APIs. So the reason I wouldn't do that, the reason I wouldn't even think to do that is because obviously with with um with Ocelot, it's got all the auth. I can actually decide whether something is or isn't authenticated. It will authenticate at this layer and pass forward authentication for me as part of it. I've got all the service discovery, so I don't need to worry about mapping IP addresses or host addresses, etc. And all the things that you have to concern yourself with that aren't just built into the API stuff is, yeah, just feels fragile to build your own API gateway. Like it seems like a piece of technology that has been well established and is specialized already that would be fragile. Where time would be better spent doing something uh, other pieces of work. Sorry, I mean, hi, Surly, how you doing? You mean fragile? No, I mean fragile. I say the words the way I want to say the words. I've argued day in and day out to either get a manager or hire a consultant to assist us with this setup. Yeah, because I mean, you have there's what once there's three of you, right? Or I don't know. Considering the challenges you've got ahead of you with rebuilding, um, what you're doing, I'd say that. I mean, I think we're all 30, give or take a couple of years. Only three of us. Okay, you carry on saying the words wrong. It's fine. I'll do my best. Um, yeah, I'd pick a better fight if I was being honest. Topics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch the merge topic, right? And we're going to run that again. There we go. Okay. So these should now be. Live tail, pause. Last updated. That's the same blinking event. No, it's not. They're distinct events that came out of the last updated at the exact same time. Occurred on. So do I take occurred on rather than that? Because they group by key anyway. So the weird thing is about that is kind of. Oh no, now it's set. Why you now? Why you now persisted? Why my brain hurt? Empty topic. Consumer groups. Reset that. Tired sore hands from the punch bag. Blackpool had the unfortunate visit from my son and grandson last week. The unfortunate visit. Oh no. Um, okay, so we're gonna do that again on occurred on and see what happens. So let's go in live stream. I wonder why before I was in there, maybe it treats me as a consumer. Let's have a look. Okay, so there we go. There's our events. If That's like it's not accounting for, because again, this is just a replay of, so the occurred on, again, is not 12:52, 15, 3, 6, 7, 4, 1. Yeah, that's higher. So it's not condensing them at all. So I wonder if I could control the windowing. Like, like if I could say um windowed by um windowed by you. So this is time window dot um hopping window options. Nice. Exercise is good for all those. Uh, Not just physically. I mean, it can help mental. It can help in all manner of ways. Hopping, hopping window options. Um, there are several options for windowing. Kafka streams. Yeah, hopping, session, sliding, tumbling, sliding. Session window is triggered by events. The mechanism involves something called an activity gap. The gap is the amount of time within which the window will grow unless interrupted by a new event. Sliding window is also time-based. The size of the window is defined in seconds in order for a sliding window to be triggered. Some user events must happen within a defined window of time. Gotcha. Well, side note, I want to mention that the few hours I've done on streaming so far, I've already improved my productivity at work and how I approach writing code. Nice. Nice. Yeah, if you are not aware, Audio has recently taken up streaming. Um, no time, no scheduled time yet, but a great place to go and hang out. Nice and chill stream with someone that is trying to learn and grow as well, which is always good. I think in this community as well, like having it's matured enough that you get people that can come in and help guide more than criticize, which is good. So I think it's streaming is much more productive place than it was. Been very cut and stitch for the past year outside my one area of expertise. Yeah. Session create tumbler. Session window triggered by events. The main use cases involve tracking that's for generated over a period of time. Hopping. If you're implementing a hopping window, then you need to make sure dashboard with moving averages, say average clicks on a certain e-commerce page. Like so again, the windowing might not be what I want to do. because it's not really based upon, I can't control the window. What decides the window, right? It's the events. So the events happened. Um, Occurred on is my field. So ultimately, I want to make sure that I don't, because again, occurred on is not something going back to um, um, the point earlier on from Trap regarding the out of order processing, in that if I manage to produce an event before another event, if I use the occurred on, then I'm going to take the wrong event because the last updated might have been the correct event. I want to have beers with all of you. Or drinks of choice for the sober. Surely can say hi. Stuck in 2 hour meeting now. 30-minute pause. Oh, that's a productive day. Um, hey Reg, how you doing? Um, how are you all? I'm doing good. I'm trying to tinker with a few different technologies to try and get changes. I seem to take one step forward and 10 steps back right now. I hope the meeting ends soon. Hi Sally, how you doing? Hmm, yeah. I think the actor stuff, if I need to create any sort of pipeline of manipulating the data, etc., I think the actor stuff is very useful. Um, oh, and I'm starting to question whether I'm worrying about the right things here. I just don't want to. What I want to avoid is if I get two messages, then I don't want to publish the fact that it's a new change every time. So will this do that? Um, because basically, if I do, it's not a good it's not a good thing to do necessarily, but message if planning item is null. So, but the problem is that in that event, I would I couldn't then go back and process. So I would have to I essentially had to do sender.tell message, right? Which which is basically the way you were and reprocess that message again. Um, I decided not to use that back then because the complexity that adds to the project was more than the use I get through everything else. Because not that amount of data supplies. Yeah, in this event, I think that the actors could be useful for what I want to do because I want to kind of process changes and I want the ability to process a lot of changes in a short amount or a lot of changes effectively, but also be able to describe the process if I need to. So um I could try and code this with just using Kafka and building out my consumer system. But yeah. Do you think moving to a big city, a capital, in your younger years is a good move? I'm starting my master's soon and have the opportunity to move to a bigger city and a better college, but I just don't know if it's worth it. Better union, slightly better that is. I mean, I didn't move for school, but I moved away from home when I was 19 and I moved to a large city in the UK. Um, I had a great time. I was working. I had disposable income. I had friends to go out with, so I went out a lot. Um, so I explored the city and it opened my. I'd grown up in small villages, so um, I got a lot from it. Um, yeah. Depends on you what they call your life, good social network, a lot of events and finding new peoples, or do you want to live more chill life with less good friends and so on? I don't think good friends come with a big city though. Um, I do regret not completing education sometimes because I think that that would have given me potentially. I don't think it would have made me a better developer. I think I am where I am because of everything that's happened, not because of um, lack of school. But I do think that it would have been nice to have that experience. At this point, it is what it is. Eh, good friends are good friends. You'll find them along the way. Um, but with this experience, um, in my younger years, yes, I moved away from home. I enjoyed it. I spent 5 years in a city. I then moved to a small town before I moved to the US. Yeah, I get the point. The bonds are a little closer because you're not meeting as many. Uh, you're meeting fewer people overall. It depends on how you're embracing it as well. Um, so so what this would do is if this comes in here and we actually have the planning item, it's going to tell the sender, which in this case is the receive, oh, have this back, by the way, which is then going to come in here and ask for the planning item again, which is then going to, which at that point should exist and therefore go to changes rather than creating a new. Um, it should never get in here when it doesn't exist, right? Um, he says, um, message, dot event, dot identifier. I don't know why I wrapped it in a message in that one. Um, looking for 3 more people to summon spirits and mix Porsche so we can, play more games. Whatever decision you take, I wouldn't regret. Treat everything you do in life as an experience that is, yeah, sometimes good, sometimes bad. Um, but I think, yeah, it's. I have a no regret kind of attitude in that if I make a decision to do something, if it's the wrong decision, it's the wrong decision. I can't change it. There's no point worrying about that. Um, it is. If you feel you're going to regret it, and there's no, and it's achievable, you can do it, and you feel, oh, I'm going to regret it if I don't do it, and that's how you feel, then I think you know the answer yourself. Um, is no standard up tell. So I'm not sure I want to do it this way. I don't think this works either, but let's give this a go. So what this is going to try and do, and I know I need to finish up because it's the end of the end of the stream. Let's remove that one so I can get that out of the way. So the idea here is that this will start up and it will try and filter out each message, right? So it's going to get all these messages first, right? So let's move this back to hosting demo. Updating existing, creating new, updating existing, updating existing, updating existing, updating existing, creating new. So what I'm not wanting to see is creating new on anything that is, yeah. What time for me? I'll catch you out later. Mojo, thank you very much for banging out today. Um, I'll hopefully see you later on. We will head there later, I hope. I try to find some food before I go back to meeting. Kani, thank you very much. Thank you for stopping in even though you're in meetings. That's true. Only one thing I like right now is that I'm a family person. I like having them not too far away to sometime visit on the other side. Moving will be better for my career, I think. Yeah, I started moving, I moved 35 miles away from my home. I didn't drive, so that was actually quite difficult. And then eventually I moved 200 miles away, and then I moved 3,500 miles away. So to me, my family was always very supportive of doing what was best for my future. So I appreciate that. Um, so okay, okay. So I've got to stop because I'm running out of time. Basically, what I'm trying to do here is this looks like it's going to work because I think it's the right way of thinking about it. So each actor is going to figure out, can I do what I need to do? So we're going to send the messages from here, and then each actor is going to say, can I do what I'm going to do? And if I can't, oh, by the way, whoever told me to do this needs to take this message back and process it. So if we get into this new and we actually have it already, therefore it's not new, we're then going to send it back for processing back to the receive. Similarly, when receive will actually try and make that decision anyway. So it's just more of a, if things are happening out of sequence, each thing should check. So that's what I'm trying to align here. So in the update, if I have the planning item, then I'm good. If I don't, because it doesn't exist yet, but I've been told to update it for whatever reason, bail out, right? And go tell the sender, yeah, deal with this message again. The challenge with that one is that's what's wrong. So this receive is if, so this one is a bit difficult because I'm sending a different type of message. Integration event message. Yeah. So I actually need to send, in that case, yeah. I need to send the message down there. Is the update, no, the create. Yeah, I'm dealing with the wrong things. So that's what the actual problem there is. I'm actually not receiving the right message. Because here I'm trying to pass in the planning out. That's why. So I'm assuming the planning item's here, but if I do it this way, where I just load up the planning item again, a query by an index is not going to hurt me, right? It's not going to hurt, so we can do it. But yeah. Anyway, I'm going to raid. I'm gonna read coding Pressman again. There he's trying to build his stream. He does a variety of things. He's done some game dev. He does a lot of .NET stuff. He builds applications, etc. So we're gonna read over to him. You said you sometimes wish you had continued your education a bit further. Is that because you think it would have given you more opportunities or related to working in the field? I just think it would have allowed me to be more rounded, I think, sometimes. But the way that the way that I learn, I've had friends tell me that I I would find it hard to do school now because of what I do know. Um, and the learning wouldn't benefit me. So, but it is what it is. Um, No worries. Thank you for coming and hanging out for a bit. I appreciate it. So let's go see Coding Craftsman. I will be back tomorrow. I will stream, even though it's 4th of July. And on a Friday, we're gonna have a community day. So I'm gonna open up Discord and we can have chat, Q&A and stuff and talk about these topics and technologies, etc. So hopefully you'll be able to join me then. So check out the Discord for further information there. So thank you all. Take care. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. And I still didn't put the screens in place. It's linked in the cards below, Sally, if you want. Dan, thank you very much for the raid. Appreciate it. Take care, all. Bye.